Hello, so we have a wire here. We hang some weights on it so that the weights provide the stretching force, which causes the wire to extend from its unstretched length. So if the wire obeys Hooke's law, the force extension graph is going to be a straight line passing through the origin. But do wires obey Hooke's law? Yes, they do, but only for small extensions. So in practice, if you really stretch the wire, it's going to give you a force extension graph that looks something like this. So there are a few landmarks here. The proportional limit, as the name suggests, is the maximum extension before the force extension graph stops being a straight line. In other words, this is the maximum extension before the wire stops obeying Hooke's law. If we stretch the wire further, what is observed in practice is, well, it's much easier to stretch the wire now. Increasing the force by a little bit can cause a big increase in the extension. And in fact, if you stretch it too much, the wire is going to snap. So that's called the fracture point. Now, between the proportional limit and the fracture point, there's actually one more point which is very interesting. It's called the elastic limit. So this is the maximum extension before the wire undergoes permanent deformation. Not break, just permanently deformed. Okay, let me elaborate. Let's say you stretch a wire until this point, to the proportional limit. So when we let the wire unstretch, meaning we remove the loads, so the wire is going to unstretch, it's going to unstretch along the same path, meaning the stretch graph and the unstretched graph are the same. If we stretch it more, until maybe the elastic limit, when we unload, when we let the wire unstretch, it will still unstretch along the same graph. Stretched graph and unstretched graph are the same. Now guess what happens if you stretch it beyond the elastic limit? What's observed in practice is the wire is going to unstretch along this path, this line. So the stretching graph and the unstretching graph are different. So notice this point here, where the stretching force is already zero. That means we have unloaded the weights. There's no more stretching force. But the wire did not go back to extension of zero. So this amount here represents the amount of permanent elongation. Now let's talk about the area under the graphs, What do you think this green area represents? This must represent the work done by the external force to stretch the wire, right? But is this the elastic potential energy stored in the wire? Maybe not, Because you realize when you let the wire unstretch, it unstretches along this path. That means when you harvest the EP, you get only this much back. So it took me so much effort, so much work to stretch it. When it's the wire's turn to do the work, it returns me only this much. So if you ask me what is the elastic potential energy stored in the wire, I think I'm going to say this much. Because this is the amount of work that I can get back from the wire. So what happens to this part? Lost lah. Converted into either heat or deformation energy. By deformation energy, I mean the energy that's required to permanently rearrange the molecular bonds. So the A-level syllabus doesn't require you to know too much detail. All you are required to know is, well, it's possible to permanently deform a wire, and therefore the EP stored is only this much here and not this amount here. Alright, that's all. Ta-ta!